right, and I'm back. So, over the break, I've been talking about this a lot. There's a change in how the movie landscape is going lately, and one of those changes is that now movies, instead of being released in theaters, they're going direct to streaming. The first big title to come out was Wonder Woman 1984, and it was a hot piece of garbage. So, I'm going to give you half a spoiler for your review, and then I may go into some spoilers just because I need to explain to you how much no sense it makes. It makes no fucking sense. But anyway, let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Alright, so I often get in trouble for this. People sometimes get mad when I say this, but I don't care because it's the truth. I was not a big fan of the previous Wonder Woman, the original Wonder Woman movie. I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a good movie. I've said, and this probably because why I get in trouble, it's because of the way I said it. I admitted it. It's the best female superhero movie out there. But that's also like saying that you're the world's tallest dwarf. It's not very impressive. You're competing against Elektra. You're competing against Catwoman. You're competing against Captain Marvel. It's like the competition's not very steep. It's okay. It's an okay film, and it's good compared to the other ones. It's just overall not good. I had a lot of issues with it. For a superhero movie, first off, it never explains what her superpowers are, which is very annoying. And I understand why some writers do it. I understand why some directors do it. And it's because if you never explain what the powers are, then they can have whatever powers you want or whatever power is convenient for you at that moment. I understand it. It gives you versatility. But also go fuck yourselves. Yeah, I understand. I also hated the ending. I thought that they were close. They were close to something being like really good. Honestly, like a good ending would have saved everything else. Before I get into the ending, I didn't like how at one point they kind of just forgot about the war and it became something else. I had a similar issue with Captain America. Captain America, the original Captain America, actually was a lot more egregious in this particular point. Wonder Woman just kind of strayed a little bit. And again, you don't know her powers. She's hurt by bullets, but she's not hurt by a poisonous gas. It's really weird. Like I said, it really bothers me when that stuff happens. And I'm also not a particular fan of this representation of Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot's fine. She does a good performance. I don't like the innocent goody two-shoes Wonder Woman. This is TV Wonder Woman. Okay? TV Wonder Woman, not the best representation of Wonder Woman. Probably the worst representation of Wonder Woman was in the comic books when she was basically a housewife or a house girlfriend. That's the worst Wonder Woman by far. Then probably the TV Wonder Woman I was not a fan of. But it's definitely not the current comic book one, the one that I grew up with in the 90s, and the badass one, the one who's actually a killer. Like, a lot of people forget about this. Wonder Woman is actually a killer. She's a warrior. She's an Amazon. She has no issues with killing. But here she's kind of like a goody two-shoes. In fact, the only reason why she probably doesn't kill is because of Batman and Superman, that they are completely against killing. But all right. So she's a badass. She's a hardcore badass. And I believe that in Batman v Superman, you get closer to that. In Justice League, you get a little bit closer to that. She's still a little bit of a softie, but she's like the badass character. Here, she's too nice. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big fan of TV Wonder Woman. But the ending was a big issue for me because they were close to something even great. And a great ending can save a mediocre movie. And the issue that I had is that Ares, the villain, the first one, when he told her, he basically said, I didn't do anything. Like, the villain said, I just gave humanity a push, and then all of a sudden, they started doing the whole thing. I just gave him a little push. I didn't do anything else. And to me, that seemed like a really great thing to kind of just break her spirit. And it would have explained why she disappeared for so long. It would have explained so many things. It would have made so much sense. And like, she kind of loses faith in humanity. She kind of failed her mission and all that kind of good stuff. But they instead turned it into a fight with Ares, which just completely ruined it. And also they ruined one of the biggest villains in her lore. So it was just dumb. It was dumbly made. So a bad ending can ruin a good movie. Just like a bad ending can ruin a good show. Like that's the reason why most people hate Game of Thrones. I hated Game of Thrones for a lot more reasons other than that, but a lot of people hate it because of the ending. That's why a lot of people hate Dexter. That's a bad ending can ruin a good movie. A great ending can make a mediocre movie good. So there you go. That's kind of how I felt about the original one. Before I get into this one, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. If you want to see this video afterwards, it'll load by itself on YouTube. So probably by, I don't know, later tonight, tomorrow, who knows? It'll be up there if you want, if like visuals and stuff, or if you want to see my face get angry. Some people appreciate that. I don't know. Like, I was talking with my kid brother yesterday, and he's like, dude, you know the only reason why you have an audience is because you lose your shit, right? It's because you lose your shit over dumb stuff. Like, I don't want to lose my shit. I want to make a reasonable argument. It's just I'm an emotional person. Whatever. Doesn't matter. You can see that. Also, like, subscribe. It helps out. I really appreciate it. But let's get into this whole thing because I got a lot to say. So first off, let's begin with the spoiler-free stuff. So this movie takes place in 1984, Washington, D.C. And we see Diana, who is very lonely, and we get to meet a co-worker of hers called Barbara Minerva, played by Kristen something. I forget her name, but to me, she's Barbara, whatever, it doesn't matter. Kristen Wiig. There you go, by Kristen Wiig. And basically, the plot of the movie is there's a magical stone that grants one wish, and there's consequences for that wish. And one businesswoman, one Maxwell Lord, decides to, well, he's also kind of a con man, decides to take that, to steal the powers of said device, and hijinks ensue. So shenanigans ensue. Now, first off, I'm annoyed that they stole the plot from the Very Odd Parents movie, and they instead of making it a rock, well, instead of making it a muffin that Timmy Turner had, they made it a rock. So all right, they changed it a little, but they stole the plot of the same movie, and that's the premise of it. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. And I'll start with the good stuff. So the performances in this movie are great. Gal Gadot, she's Wonder Woman. She's good. She's great. She's done a fair job. Like I said, she does the goody two shoes Wonder Woman a lot more. She's either angry or the goody two shoes one. Either one is fine. She's likable. Her performance has been good so far. You got Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord, who probably has the best performance in this movie. The dude was just having fun with it. Dude went buck wild and was having fun with his performance. Very enjoyable to watch. Very great performance. Then you got the other villain, Kristen Wiig, who I just talked about. She plays Barbara, and she eventually becomes Cheetah. Also, I liked her more as at the beginning of the movie when she's kind of the loser. As she starts playing out a loser, and then for some reason, for hijinks, she becomes kind of like the popular girl and strong and powerful, and she starts becoming the Cheetah. Honestly, that side of her was not as great. At the beginning of the movie was a lot better for her. The second half, there's moments in the movie where you're like, yeah, this is clearly magic. It's the way people are reacting to her. It's clearly magic. There's no way that anybody would ever think that of her, especially standing next to Gal Gadot. So it's one of those things. But her performance was good. She was okay. She was likable. It was, like I said, good. And then you have who was it? Chris Pine, who is fucking hysterical. Like, honestly, knocks it out of the park, Chris Pine, because you actually feel. But for those of you who don't know, Chris Pine's character, Steve Trevor, died in the previous movie, and so Wonder Woman basically wishes for him to come back, and so he comes back. There's a lot more to it, but I'll get into that in a minute. And so you get to see him, like, at moments you feel like you're seeing an old man looking at all the new stuff. You ever seen like an old man look at like new technology? Like, you ever give him like an iPad that they've never seen before or something like that, and just like, what do I do with this? That's how he portrayed it, and it was hysterical. It was well written. His character was well written, and the performance was great. So I said, all the characters, all their performances were great. The story, the premise was fun. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. The conflict that Wonder Woman has to deal with afterwards, predictable, but good, interesting. And still, even with all those things, the movie is a piece of hot garbage. You wouldn't think so. You would think that a movie that has all those combinations would be good. you'd be mistaken. It is a piece of hot garbage. I usually try to break down movies when I do reviews, like, would you spend your money on it? I would not. In fact, I'm very happy that I have HBO Max and I watched it on HBO Max. And if I would have paid for it in movie theaters, I would have wanted my money back because that was a piece of hot garbage. Really, really bad. And so if you want the spoiler-free version, the spoiler-free review, like I said, not worth your money. If you wanna see a piece of hot garbage, go see it. The music's fine. The performances are funny. Like I said, the performances are fine. If you want to just go see the performances, if you want to see the some decent acting, pretty good acting, okay. The story is the issue here. The story just makes no fucking sense. None whatsoever. The effects are atrocious. There's moments when the effects look good, the fight scenes looks good, but other CGI moments, they just look disgustingly bad. And I mean, like, there's a lot of moments where one woman's swinging around with her lasso. It looks worse than the original Spider-Man movie, the Sam Raimi one, the one with Tobey Maguire. The effects for that look way better. And I mean way, way better than this. There's also moments where one woman's running around, like, with a lot faster, that look extremely, terribly bad. Terribly bad. The pacing of the movie makes no sense. Like, the movie starts with, like, a 20-minute flashback. 20 fucking minutes. Now, the last time I saw a movie that had a flashback that long, I think, was The Man of Steel, and actually it was pretty good. The flashback of the destruction of Krypton, I actually kind of enjoyed as the whole Russell Crowe thing, and it served a purpose. This flashback served no purpose, none whatsoever. I kept expecting something to come out of it. It doesn't. Like, honestly, I think the only reason why they did it is because they wanted to go back to Themyscira one more time and just to show all those old characters and all the supermodels that live there. I think that was their purpose, and I wouldn't be shocked if that was the purpose. But it was really bad. It's really bad because it's 20 minutes of the movie that have nothing to do with the rest of the movie. And so, like I said, the pacing makes no sense. There's a lot of missed opportunities. So many missed opportunities. And the biggest flaw of the movie... Well, first off, they make the classic mistake of putting two villains that team up together. That never works out. I don't know why they keep doing it. It doesn't work out. We've learned this time and again. When you put two villains in a movie, it does not work out. It's okay to put one villain in it and then introduce another, but you need one main villain. The team up doesn't work, especially when it's a powerful villain, when it's a Machiavellian villain who deserves a movie in their own right. Cheetah does not deserve to be the sidekick or the defender of Maxwell Lord. She deserves her own film. Like, her story is interesting enough. Maxwell Lord deserves his own film as well. Now, if they would have introduced Cheetah in one and then Maxwell Lord in the other, and Maxwell Lord decides to use Cheetah as something else, okay, acceptable. But the way they handle it, it just never works. There's never enough space in one movie to introduce two villains and actually make them be relevant. One becomes a sidekick or like an afterthought of the other. It does not work out, especially when their plans don't coincide. Here they kind of do, but not really. And there's a lot of big flaws here. But that's another one of the other ones. So the big issue there, well, that's not the big issue. The big issue here is that the villain's plan makes no sense because I'm not sure if he actually had a plan or a purpose. Like, well, let me rephrase that. He does kind of have a plan. We just don't understand why he's doing it. It makes no sense. And I guess I'll get into spoilers territory in a few minutes, and I'll start with that. But so in like if I have to like condense it, not a good movie because the plot makes no sense. There's a lot of missed opportunities. The effects are terrible. The acting's funny. It's enjoyable, but the villain they have no plan. There's no purpose. I can't understand what his objective was. There's a plan, but I don't know what the plan was. I don't know what the objective was. And I'll stop there. So that's the spoiler-free part. If you want to get spoilers, starting from now, and I'll begin with the whole plan of the villain. So, starting now, spoiler-free. We're back to spoilers. I don't care anymore. So, talking spoilers of the movie. The villain, like I said, Maxwell Lord, what he does is, by the way, I'll tell you what I thought was the original plot of this movie. Maxwell Lord kind of has psychic powers in the comic books. So when I saw Chris Pine in the trailer, I thought, okay, maybe it's an illusion of Maxwell Lord that Chris Pine is back. I 100% thought that was going to be the plot of the movie, that it was going to be an illusion from Maxwell Lord, because that would have made sense. But no, it turns out that it's the Very Odd Parents, the Timmy Turner magic muffin thing. That's the plot, and he came back with magic. And always, 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 magic comes at a price. So if we learn, well, I mean, there's a ton of things that they talk about this. I believe there's certain stories that don't really deal with this particular issue, but generally, magic comes at a price. That's a known thing, and I'll get into that, I guess. So Maxwell Lord decides that, you know what, I'm going to become this magic thing. So my wish is to become the wish granter. And so what he does for the rest of the movie is, and so since he's the wish granter, he can also demand the price. So let's say, for example, I want $1 million, but the price, I wish I had $1 million. And the price for that, the stone would decide randomly. So maybe I win $1 million, but I lose my left eye, like randomly, or I have health issues from that point on. And so what Maxwell Lord did is, by him being the one who controls, by him being the magic stone, he can set the terms for the wish. And a lot of those things don't make any sense because they involve other people. And so let's say, for example, he's like, all right, what do you wish for? I'm like, I wish I had $1 million. Okay. And in exchange, I get this. And a lot of things don't make much sense. Because he can say, in exchange, I want to get a plane ticket to Africa. Which, well, no, that's different. He says, don't you wish I had a ticket to Africa, blah, blah, whatever. And in exchange, he asks for something that sometimes doesn't make any sense. Like, say, for example, I'll give you an example. The President of the United States, he gets a wish from the President first off, he touches the President of the United States, which is fucking insanity. But the President makes his wish, and he's like, all right, granted. And in exchange, I get complete control of the government. I'm like the most important person. I'm above and beyond. I don't have to pay taxes. And he does all this bunch of stuff. And it's like, I'm not sure that is, first off, equivalent. Second, that, like, that's something that person could grant. You know, it's supposed to be taking something from one person, not from everybody else. So the issue that he's having is that every time he grants a wish, like, his health, you can see him being physically, like, damaged by it. Like, his height starts bleeding, his nose starts bleeding. And so he says that basically what his plan is, that he's going to get a wish, and, well, he's going to make a wish, and he's going to start taking people's health. Perfectly reasonable. Okay, fine. But then it doesn't make sense that he wants to touch everybody and get a wish from everybody at the same time. Like, he wants to grant everybody's wishes at the same time so he can take something at the same time. Like, everything at the same time. It makes no sense. Because, all right, you're doing that for what? What do you want to do? If you touch everybody, if you give everybody a wish, then you have nobody else to give you to give you that power. Your power is completely dependent on a new person wanting a wish. So you're basically, neutering your own power? It really made no sense, because he could have done it little by little and gotten the exact same results, because basically the wish gives him unlimited rules, right? So and that's how it's established. You can just ask for whatever you want back. It made no sense. Like, honestly, like, the villain's plan, I still do not understand what his purpose was. I get that it's a cool thing. Hey, you know, grant wishes and get whatever I want in return, and then manipulate everybody. That's fun. But why? Like, what did you want to do with it? You know, usually, villains want to do stuff. They don't just want to have stuff. They want to do stuff. Well, unless they're stealing money and stuff. But they want to do something with that money. Here, it was never clear what he wanted to do. Cheetah, on the other hand, she just wanted power. That's it. Plain and simple, she just wanted to be powerful. And the reason why she teams up with Maxwell Lord is because Maxwell, basically, she got her wish via the stone, and if they destroy the stone, aka Maxwell Lord, she will lose her powers. And so she doesn't want to lose her powers. And also, she's going a little bit crazy. So that's them. So that's the biggest thing. Like, to me, in a movie, the most important thing in a superhero movie is the villain. The villain makes or breaks the movie, because if you have a bad villain, then it's not as impressive what the hero does. If you have a great villain, then the hero has to rise to their level. So the villain usually tends to mark if a movie's gonna be good or not. Here, it's an interesting concept. Like I said, the performance was good. It's just didn't really make much sense. And so that's the most egregious thing. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that to me didn't make any sense. Like, the movie doesn't make sense left and right, and they have a lot of missed opportunities. First off, for some reason, Wonder Woman is a loner. And the last time we saw Wonder Woman, she made friends. Like, she had friends. Like, in other soldier dudes, she was friendly with them. So there's no reason for her to be a loner, but here they made her a loner. And, okay. And for some reason, she's the only person that talks to Barbara. And Barbara, the person who hired her a week before, does not recognize her. I get it, she's a loser, but you hired the person the week before. What kind of an HR person are you? Anyway, so they make her a loner. And that, to me, that's a missed opportunity, because you're going to be reintroducing Steve Trevor. You're going to be bringing the love interest back. So why not actually, do something interesting and have her explore other possibilities? Like, let's say that people flirt with her because she's Gal Gadot, and I'm guessing people would want to flirt with her, and she, like, tries, but it's not working out because they're not Steve. That could have made a little bit of sense, because that's what people do, especially if it's been over 50 years, but whatever. There's also the whole, you never really know what her wish is. And again, I hate it when writers or directors do this. She makes the wish in her head. You assume you know what the wish is, but you don't know what you don't know what she wished for. And so I get why they do it, because it gives them the flexibility of the wish could be whatever the fuck I want, whenever it's convenient to me. But as the audience is like, we can't read her fucking mind. So it's hard to know what the rules for her are. Now, like I said, wishes have consequences. The particular consequence for her wish is that, well, I thought, and this is where it was confusing to me for a second. At first, I thought that the consequence for her wish is that Steve Trevor came back in somebody else's body. So it's like his spirit took over the body of somebody else, and at first, Wonder Woman does not recognize him. And I thought that was, that's the consequence. And I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting, because that other person probably had a life. If that person would have had a girlfriend, if that person would have had a wife, and then, now that person has the soul of Steve Trevor, that could have been interesting. That would have been an interesting opportunity, but it was wasted. They didn't do anything with it. A very interesting opportunity that was just wasted because they wanted to go the easy route, the less interesting route. Fine. Then you go into the whole bunch of logistic stuff that make no sense. Like I said, villain doesn't make any sense, but at one point, he goes to Cairo. By the way, God damn it, Eric, the light. Sorry. Got people here. Anyway, so there's this whole thing in the movie where Maxwell Lord, for some reason, wants to go to Cairo, right? He's going to Cairo, which is in Egypt, and goes to Egypt. And the way that, before that, Wonder Woman is basically cock-blocking Maxwell Lord the whole movie. I do not understand this. Wonder Woman and Barbara, they've kind of become friends. And Barbara says, I'm lonely, I'm in love with people all the time, but they never love me, blah, blah, so I'm a lonely person. And so the next day, Wonder Woman sees Barbara flirting with what they think to be a millionaire, a rich guy, Maxwell Lord. And so instead of being like, oh, look, my lonely friend, she's actually, like flirting with somebody, this is good for her, she cock blocks her for no reason. She just walks in like, okay, fine, it's time to go, blah, blah. Like, and you're like, what the fuck? Why don't you like the guy? You just met him, and the dude made a big donation to your work. What the fuck happened? But Wonder Woman immediately does not like him for reasons. It's not clear. Anyway, so Maxwell Lord decides to go to Cairo, and Wonder Woman decides to chase after him. And the way that she finds out that he's in Cairo, this is the big thing that really bothered me. There's a lot that really bothered me, but this one just, I need it to be explained. They break into the dude's office, and in the trash, they find a ticket to Cairo. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you want to board a plane, guess what you need? What do you think? You need a fucking ticket. You need a fucking ticket to get on a plane, particularly in 1984. Now, I'll be fair. I was not born in 1984. I'm not sure what the receipt for a plane ticket looks like. It might just look like a plane ticket back in 1984. I don't know, but to me, it looked a lot like a fucking plane ticket. And to me, you need a plane ticket to get on a fucking plane. And How did he get on the plane? How did he get on a plane? Unless he would have wasted a wish on it, which I guess because he wants to get a wish from everybody. I don't know. But it really annoyed me. And it was just stupid to have that thing there. Also, at the end, Maxwell Lord, his big plan is he discovers that the government has a secret weapon that basically allows them to broadcast through to every single screen in the world at the same time. Basically, the dumbed down version that the president kind of explains is that particle beams get thrown everywhere, and any screen it touches is going to be sending a signal, which is blasphemous for anybody who works in that particular industry, but whatever. Let's say they have the technology and it's possible to do it. And so Maxwell Lord is like, so I'd be touching everybody? Okay. So he goes to the secret military base to use this particular machine to talk to everybody at once and be touching them all at once. Now, here's the issue with that. This happens at the White House. This happens in the Oval Office. Then, as he's leaving there, Wonder Woman confronts them and they have a fight. And then Cheetah comes in there and Cheetah whoops her, and Maxwell Lord and Cheetah take the helicopter to the secret military base. So, there's no reason why Wonder Woman should know where they're going, and it's a secret military base. However, somehow, Wonder Woman knows where they are. At the end of the movie, she goes and she gets her stupid golden armor, and she finds them. A secret military base that she should have no reason to know why they went there. She goes over there and finds them, which is stupid. It's stupid. But let's continue with other stuff that's stupid. Let's talk about her powers. Once again, it's not clear what her powers are. Also, one of the I was talking about the consequences. Stupid Eric threw me off. But so Wonder Woman, I thought the consequence was that Steve Trevor came back in somebody else's body, but they never did it really anything with it. And the big controversy that came out of the movie is that Wonder Woman raped the guy because it wasn't that dude's body. So she had sex with somebody else who didn't consent. Now, the big joke when I talk with people about this, the big thing that most dudes agree on is like the thing that would upset me is that I don't remember having sex with Wonder Woman. But all right, that's that's how guys are. Anyway, the actual consequence to her wish, I guess, is that she's starting to lose her powers. Now, the way that she's starting to lose her powers is very convenient to the situation that she's in. Now, I already said this before. In the first movie, it's established that Wonder Woman is not bulletproof. A freaking German soldier shot her in the arm and she bleeds. That's established. You are not bulletproof. Why? I don't know. She can take a punch from Doomsday, but she can't take a freaking shot. All right, whatever. She's not bulletproof. In the movie, she gets shot several times. Once kind of like in the shoulder, bleeds. Then afterwards, there's a hallway fight. She gets shot in the arm. Now, she confronts Secret Service and Maxwell Lord, and they shoot her and they graze her in the arm, bleeding immediately. Like, and I mean, in the same fight sequence, let's say 20, 30 seconds later, one of the Secret Service dudes shoots her point blank in the chest, and it does not kill her. So, graze to the arm, blood, being shot point blank on the chest, doesn't kill her. Even though it's established that she's not bulletproof. But I guess, her arms are more sensitive than her freaking chest. All right, fine. In fact, it only gives her like a little, it was like if she would have been shot by a BB gun, like a little bruise and a little bit of blood. Afterwards, and like I said, she doesn't have her full powers, and she's kind of losing them selectively whenever it's convenient, which is very annoying, and which is different than everybody else because everybody else kind of the consequences are almost immediate, but whatever. Afterwards, when she decides that, the way that you get rid of this situation and the way that you can make things come back and, stop all the chaos that's going on is you need to give up your wish. Now, there's a lot of really dumb things of how they figured that out. First off, they found this random dude who had a pamphlet at the airport that said that he was an expert with, I don't know, ancient text or something. And it ends up being a random dude that has a big book about Aztecs. Now, I grew up in Mexico. I know a little bit about Aztecs. I've never seen a book written by Aztecs. I've never heard of a book written by Aztecs. To me, that's all right. If it exists, cool. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of any, like I said, any Aztec book being written ever. I've never heard of it, but whatever, fine. They have one. Let's say it's a super secret book. And one of the things that they say in this particular book is that whenever this thing shows up, it leads to the sudden and weird disappearance and fall of a civilization, like the ancient Mayas, what was it, Atlantis, like the fall of the Roman Empire, which is bullshit. We know exactly where the Roman Empire fell, but whatever. And then they say that the way that you break this curse is either destroying the stone or giving up your wish. Which, how would you fucking know? How would you know that? How would you know that destroying the stone that destroys the effects of the wish if you haven't destroyed the stone? Because if you had destroyed the stone, then why is there still a stupid stone, right? Makes no sense, right? Am I crazy? I don't think so. It's stupid. Anyway, moving on. So where was I? Oh yeah. So she gets shot point blank, and at one point, Wonder Woman has to decide, oh, I have to give up Steve in exchange for getting my powers back so that I can go and stop the bad guys, right? That's what she has to do. And she does. And immediately as she gives up, as she's getting her powers back, she's, like I said, she got her ass whooped. She's bleeding. She got shot in the chest, so she's got like 3 drops of blood, and her arm's bleeding. Immediately as she does that, her wounds heal. Her wounds fucking heal, and I don't mean just like, oh, they close up. I mean the blood disappears, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It's like, all right, but fine, whatever. Then for some reason, her lasso, she throws her lasso like 3 blocks away and uses it to kind of like jump to the sky. And then in the sky, she throws her lasso at a fucking plane, an airplane. You know how high a stupid plane flies? I'm pretty sure it's longer than her, 100-foot lasso. Let's say it's a 100-foot lasso, which is a pretty long lasso. Hey, you know what? Let's say it's a 500-foot lasso. I'm pretty sure that the fucking plane still flies higher than that, but whatever. She holds on to the fucking plane, and that's when she learns how to fly, which also looks very crappy. Whatever. Whatever. And then she magically knows where to find the guys, and she knows everything. The big issue there, and like I said, I've said a lot of stuff already. There's a confrontation between her and Cheetah, right? Cheetah looks terrible, by the way, and I mean disgustingly bad. Like this CGI is terrible. It's on par with the movie Cats, which Cats already came out. You think they would have taken a hint of like, hey, you know what? People don't like this. Maybe we shouldn't do it, but they did it anyway. She looks terrible. They have a fight. And by fight, I mean Wonder Woman blocks for like 20 minutes with her wings. And I'm not 20 minutes. And then beats her in the dumbest way possible. Like, I counted this because I have HBO Max and I could see it again. I counted how many hits she threw. She didn't even throw 10. And some of those hits were just like shoving her away, and I counted it as a hit. So Wonder Woman defeated Cheetah by basically shoving her 10 times. That was the big fight. That was the big fight with one of her biggest antagonists out there. Like, she didn't even throw a clean punch ever. And then Cheetah gets electrocuted in water, and for some reason she doesn't get electrocuted even though they are supposed to have the same powers because she got the powers from her. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Stupid. Then Maxwell Lord, for some reason, he gets wind powers. His wish is, I guess, to become a windbender. I don't know why. He's using like I said, he's using the secret government technology to broadcast his message and get everybody's wishes out there. And for some reason, a lot of wind starts coming into that room. So I'm guessing one of his wishes is to be a windbender. And Wonder Woman can't reach him. And so the way that she defeats Maxwell Lord is tucking. So the way that they should have ended the first one is kind of what they want to do with this one. But listen, I love Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's great. Wonder Woman inspires a lot of people. Like, she's a beacon of hope. Well, her thing's not hope, but she inspires you in other ways because she has a really strong sense of justice, and she's willing to do the hard thing, and she's willing to pay the price, not to go back on her word, on her ideals. And it's honestly, she's a leader to follow. But usually when she convinces you with her words is after she's beaten the living shit out of you. That is kind of her thing. There's a particular comic that I like. It's Hikatia. I'm not sure how you say it, but it's a Wonder Woman comic, and she and Batman have a disagreement. And the way that words are not working, so they go with fists. And after fist, that's when they actually are able to have a reasonable conversation. It's kind of her MO. It's like, I'll make you listen to me after I beat the crap out of you. It's kind of my thing. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. So basically, he talks to him and he manages to convince him, but she gives this very long speech, which apparently, for some reason, everybody in the world hears. I don't know why everybody in the world can hear this speech, but they can. I mean, the camera's not on her. I think she kind of already destroyed the camera. And the mic was on the stand really far away. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if you're not near a mic, you can't hear somebody. Like, if I just move this, whoops, I kind of fucked up. Let's see how I was trying to prove a point and I fucked it up. Let me see. There you go. So I'm going to... So this is what happens when you get away from a mic. This is what happens. You know, I'm a few feet away. And it's already hard to hear. And this is a modern mic. That was back in 1984. Mics, you know, they're pretty sturdy. It's good tech. But whatever. The point is, you need a mic for people to hear you, especially if you're trying to broadcast all over the world. Also, not everybody in the world speaks English. But it was dumb. It was dumb. And the worst part, probably, regarding still the villain and the plan that didn't make any sense, there's no consequences for anybody. Now, all these things that are happening are leading to a nuclear war. There's actual nuclear warheads in the air because of the consequences of this particular stone and the wishes and the things that Maxwell Lord is doing. He's actually about to destroy the world kind of accidentally. And still... magically, you know, Maxwell Lord decides to give up his wish, and so everybody is like, all right, well, all right, we're gonna stop. And then there's no consequences for anybody. There's no consequences for Maxwell Lord. There's no consequences for Cheetah. There's no consequences for Wonder Woman. There's no consequences for, you know, the people who sent nukes. Nobody gets a consequence anywhere. Nothing. So the dude almost started a nuclear war, almost sent us into a nuclear winter. And actually, he kind of gets rewarded because his relationship with the sun becomes better. Also, the sun looks nothing like him. I'll say that a million times. It really annoyed me. The little kid's Asian. He's Hispanic. They look nothing alike. And I know what they're saying. Well, maybe the mom's Asian, but at least pick one boy that looks like him a little. Like, casting department, seriously, the kid wasn't even that good of an actor. Pick somebody who looks like whatever. Doesn't matter. Especially because it's like a beyond secondary, like a tertiary character. Doesn't matter. So there's no consequences. In fact, good things happen to the main villain who almost sent us to nuclear winter. It makes no sense. The movie makes no sense. It's stupid. Also, Diana shows her face a whole bunch of times, which I get it. Wonder Woman in the lore, she's not exactly shy. She doesn't hide. She's like, I'm loud and proud. I'm Wonder Woman. I'm a warrior. I came here to do business. Actually, she lives in an embassy for Themyscira. She's pretty loud and proud about who she is. Here, she kind of has to be in secret, I guess, because it was established in Batman v Superman. But in the movie, she goes out in her armor, and she walked into the White House, and for some reason, afterwards, in Batman v Superman, there's only one picture of her in the entire world. She walked into the White House. She had a big fight at the White House, and there's no surveillance. Seriously, none whatsoever, nothing. So let's just say a lot of flaws in this movie. A lot of them. A lot of things were stupid, made no sense. It was a terrible movie. It was a garbage movie. I'm very happy to not spend my money on it, and I hope you don't do either. It's going to be streaming for free eventually, so just wait for that. Well, you have to pay for the streaming service, I guess, but honestly, don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. It sucks. It's terrible. It's disgusting. A lot of wasted opportunities, but overall, makes no sense. So I do not recommend it. 2 thumbs down. Hot garbage. But that's it for today. That's where I'm going to leave it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. If you want to check out this video later, you can do it on YouTube at Super Dario World. It loads itself out and by itself in, I don't know, like let's say a couple of hours. Like, subscribe, always helps out the channel. Really appreciate it. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.